Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. So in WB set, I think 2023, there is a question ki in India the type of drought measured in terms of rainfall deficiency is called meteorological drought. Okay, so here when I searched that statement, I got this link and the website, that is National Drought Mitigation Center. So here we got this topic, types of drought. Okay, so very important types of drought, you should know this. And so let's read this article from the official website of National Drought Mitigation Center. So research in the early 1980s uncovered more than 150 published definitions of drought. The definitions reflect differences in regions, needs and disciplinary approaches. Will, Height and Glantz categorize the definitions in terms of four basic approaches to measuring drought: meteorological, hydrological, agricultural and socioeconomic. The first three, that is meteorological, hydrological and agricultural approaches, deal with ways to measure drought as a physical phenomenon. The last deals with drought in terms of supply and demand. So socioeconomic drought is measured in terms of supply and demand. Tracking the effects of water shortfall as it ripples through socio-economic systems. Let's read about the meteorological drought. So natural climate variability. Okay, so and this is a flow chart here given. So what actually happens, so let's see it carefully. Natural climate variability. Okay, precipitation deficiency, amount, intensity, timing. So this is precipitation deficiency. There should be a precipitation deficiency, or would be high temperature, high winds, low relative humidity, greater sunshine, less cloud cover. So from there we will get, if the precipitation deficiency, from will get reduced infiltration, runoff, deep percolation and groundwater recharge. If there is high temperature, high winds, low relative humidity, greater sunshine, less cloud cover, then we will have increased evaporation and transpiration. So this is known as meteorological desert. So that is the meteorological desert. Okay, so I hope it is clear. मेट्रोलॉजिकल डेजर्ट इज प्योरली फिजिकल एंड सॉयल वाटर डेफिशिएंसी. सो वहाँ से जब आगे जा रहा है कि सॉयल वाटर डेफिशिएंसी, सॉयल में अब वाटर नहीं है क्योंकि इन्फिल्ट्रेशन कम हुआ है, ठीक है. तो प्लांट वाटर स्ट्रेसेस रिड्यूस्ड बाय मास एंड डीएल, तो प्लांट प्रोडक्शन कम हो जाते हैं, उसको हम बोलते हैं एग्रीकल्चरल ड्रॉट. अब इस एग्रीकल्चरल ड्रॉट होने के कारण क्या होती है, सॉरी इन्फिल्ट्रेशन के, सॉयल वाटर डेफिशिएंसी के कारण क्या होती है कि रिड्यूस्ड स्ट्रीम फ्लो, यानी स्ट्रीम का जो फ्लो है वो भी कम घट जाती है. इनफ्लो टू रिजर्वर्स, लेक्स एंड पॉन्ड्स, रिड्यूस्ड वेटलैंड्स, वाइल्ड लाइफ हैबिटेट. तो सारे जो जलाशय है, ये ठीक है, वाटर बॉडीज है, वो सूख जाते हैं, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं हाइड्रोलॉजिकल डेजर्ट. वेरी इजी कॉन्सेप्ट, राइट. अब ये जब सारे जो हर जगह वाटर का कम होना, इसके कारण क्या करता है कि बहुत सारे इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट्स हमारे यहाँ पर दिखने को मिलते हैं, क्योंकि एग्रीकल्चर नहीं होगा, फिर सोशल इम्पैक्ट भी पड़ेगा, देन एनवायरमेंटल इम्पैक्ट भी आएगा, ठीक है. तो उसको हम बोलेंगे सोशियो इकोनॉमिक ड्रॉट. So I hope it is clear now. Sequence of drought occurrence and impacts for commonly accepted drought types. So it is very easy and very clear here. Okay, good. Now meteorological drought is defined usually on the basis of the degree of dryness. So here it is the literary definition is given कि meteorological drought is defined usually on the basis of the degree of dryness in comparison to some normal or average amount and the duration of the dry period. Definitions of meteorological drought must be considered as region specific, since the atmospheric conditions that result in deficiencies of precipitation are highly variable from region to region. So this is meteorological drought is region specific. For example, some definitions of meteorological drought identify periods of drought on the basis of the number of days with precipitation less than some specified threshold. This measure is only appropriate for regions characterized by year-round precipitation regimes such as a tropical rainforest, humid subtropical climate or humid mid-latitude climate. Locations such as Manaus, Brazil, New Orleans, Louisiana and London, England are examples. Other climatic regimes are characterized by a seasonal rainfall pattern such as the central United States, northeast Brazil, West Africa and northern Australia. Extended periods without rainfall are common in Omaha, Nebraska, Fortaleza, Sierra and Darwin, Northwest Territory, Australia, and the definition based on the number of days with precipitation less than some specified threshold is unrealistic in these cases. Other definitions may relate actual precipitation departures to average amounts on monthly, seasonal or annual timescales. So let's see the agricultural drought. So agricultural drought links various characteristics of meteorological or hydrological drought to agricultural impacts, focusing on precipitation shortages, differences between actual and potential evapotranspiration, soil water deficits, reduced groundwater reservoir levels, and so forth. Plant water demand depends on prevailing weather conditions, biological characteristics of the specific plant, its stage of growth, and the physical and biological properties of the soil. A good definition of agricultural drought should be able to account for the variable susceptibility of crops during different stages of crop development, from emergence to maturity. Deficient topsoil moisture at planting may hinder germination, leading to low plant populations per hectare and a reduction of final yield. However, if topsoil moisture is sufficient for early growth requirement, deficiencies in subsoil moisture at this early stage may not affect final yield if subsoil moisture is replenished as the growing season progresses or if rainfall meets plant water needs. Let's see the hydrological drought. Hydrological drought is associated with the effects of periods of precipitation, including snowfall, shortfalls on surface or subsurface water supply, that is stream flow, reservoir and lakes levels, and groundwater. The frequency and severity of hydrological drought is often defined on a watershed or river basin scale. Although all droughts originate with a deficiency of precipitation, hydrologists are more concerned with how this deficiency plays out through the hydrological system. Hydrological droughts are usually out of phase with or lag the occurrence of meteorological and agricultural droughts. It takes longer for precipitation deficiencies to show up in components of the hydrological system such as soil moisture, stream flow, and groundwater and reservoir levels. As a result, these impacts are out of phase with impacts in other economic sectors. For example, precipitation deficiency may result in a rapid depletion of soil moisture that is almost immediately discernible to agriculturalists, but the impact of this deficiency on reservoir levels may not affect hydroelectric power production or recreational usage for many months. Also, water in hydrologic storage systems, that is reservoir, rivers, is often used for multiple and competing purposes, that is flood control, irrigation, recreation, navigation, hydropower, wildlife habitat. Further complicating the sequence and quantification of impacts, competition for water in these storage systems escalates during drought, and conflicts between water users increase significantly. Socioeconomic drought. So socioeconomic definitions of drought associate the supply and demand of some economic good with elements of meteorological, hydrological, and agricultural drought. It differs from the aforementioned types of drought because its occurrence depends on the time and space processes of supply and demand to identify or classify droughts. The supply of many economic goods such as water, forage, food grains, fish, and hydroelectric power depends on weather. Because of the natural variability of climate, water supply is ample in some years but unable to meet human and environmental needs in other years. Socioeconomic drought occurs when the demand for an economic good exceeds supply as a result of weather related shortfall in water supply. For example, in Uruguay 1988 to 89, drought resulted in significantly reduced hydroelectric power production because power plants are dependent on stream flow rather than storage for power generation. Reducing hydroelectric power production required the government to convert to more expensive imported petroleum and implement stringent energy conservation measures to meet the nation's power needs. In most instances, the demand for economic goods is increasing as a result of increasing population and per capita consumption. Supply may also increase because of improved production efficiency, technology, or the construction of reservoirs that increase surface water storage capacity. If both supply and demand are increasing, the critical factor is the relative rate of change. Is demand increasing more rapidly than supply? If so, vulnerability and the incidence of drought may increase in the future as supply and demand trends converge. तो ये जो पूरा काम है ये विल हाइट एंड ये ग्लांज की जो है अंडरस्टैंडिंग द ड्रॉट फिनोमेना, द रोल ऑफ डेफिनेशन वाटर इंटरनेशनल, इस पे बेस्ड है. अब देखो और एक कॉन्सेप्ट यहाँ पर है एक्स्ट्रा जो कि है इकोलॉजिकल ड्रॉट. द मोर रिसेंट एफर्ट फोकसेस ऑन इकोलॉजिकल ड्रॉट डिफाइंड एज prolonged and widespread deficit in naturally available water supplies, including changes in natural and managed hydrology that create multiple stresses across ecosystem. So these are the various types of drought, not desert, sorry. Okay, so we have seen that is meteorological desert, agricultural desert क्यों बोल रहा हूँ मैं बार बार, meteorological drought, agricultural drought, hydrological drought, socio-economic drought, and another one is ecological drought. तो आई थिंक आपको कुछ चीज़ें समझ में आए होंगे, और ये चाहे तो आप इस पीडीएफ को, सॉरी पीडीएफ तो नहीं है ये, पढ़ सकते हो इस वेबसाइट में जाकर. जस्ट लिखो टाइप्स ऑफ ड्रॉट बाय नेशनल NDMC एंड आपको ये मिल जाएगा. थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स.